What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Pop Culture, where you can see all kinds of pop culture content with me, JC. And today it's October 1st. That means we're beginning October Horror Onslaught Month here on the channel. Gonna do some commentaries for several horror movies, and we got to kick it off on October 1st with maybe the best horror movie ever created, in my opinion, and one of the best movies in general, John Carpenter's 1978 classic, Halloween. Gonna watch it together and do a little commentary for you guys. If you guys haven't been a part of a commentary here before, I've got the 4K Blu-ray I'm going to be watching it on. If you guys want to take a chance, get yours ready, whether it's your Blu-ray or watching on streaming, whatever, get it ready, get it up to the 000 mark. And then when I say, and here we go, that's when you want to push play on yours. We'll watch it together, and I'll be commentating throughout the film. So it should be some fun shit, guys. Let's get into it here. With no further ado, let's dive in. John Carpenter's 1978 classic, Halloween. Pause this, if you need to, get your stuff ready because we're about to roll, guys. Let's do it. All right. And here we go. I have pushed play. Should be seeing the logo come up on your screen now. That is the Lionsgate logo, I believe. Yes, indeed, it is. Make sure I got volume on this. Probably should have checked that first, but nonetheless. Yeah, there we go. Halloween theme just kicked in. It's go time. Compass International Pictures release should be on your screen if you want to make sure you're synced up. The great Mustafa Akkad, of course, legendary producer. Now you got Malik Akkad there helping run the franchise. Donald Pleasance, R.I.P. to a legend, man. Amazing performance in this movie as Dr. Loomis. I think Dr. Loomis's character just as iconic as Michael's, really. Both those two go together in the franchise so well. It's the Van Helsing to, Dracula, what have you. Jamie Lee Curtis's first role ever. It's still crazy to think about. She had thought she was going to get fired at points. She didn't think she was doing great, and then, of course, became iconic for this one. And honestly, this is my favorite, probably, title sequence in the Halloween franchise. As we move through October Horror Onslaught Month here on JC's Pop Culture, I'm going to try and pick out just some of my favorite Halloween movies for sure. I'd like to eventually do every movie in the franchise. I don't think I'll have time to do that this year, but I'm going to pick out some of my favorites, though. But I love this opening title sequence. That's why when I went and seen, was it Halloween 2018, and they pretty much kind of recreated this title sequence, I knew, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And I really do love those first two movies of that remake trilogy, requel trilogy, whatever the hell you want to call it. Halloween Ends, not so much, but that's a story for another day. Music by John Carpenter, which really just set it all off. Once he got the music in here, added his great score, that's what makes this movie so, iconic, really. Tommy Wallace, production designer. I think Tommy Wallace is the same one that directed Halloween 3, Season of the Witch as well. You notice, look at the nose on that jack-o'-lantern. It looks like the knife. Directed by the great John Carpenter, one of my favorite directors of all time. Got to give him love. And now this opening, man, absolutely, I think, probably the greatest horror opening of all time. Definitely up there for slashers. Scream comes close. Got Halloween Night 63. But just this opening shot, you get the exterior, but the camera, the way it just tracks around, it looks like a single take. And John Carpenter and them have since come out and said since then that there are some cuts in here, but I've never been able to find out where they're placed at. It looks like a straight one take to me, just phenomenally done. And this is when they broke in those, what were they called? The cameras that they used on this. Can't think of it right now. It'll come to me in a bit probably, but they were one of the first ones to use the Panaglide. I think that's what it was, Panaglide cameras for these tracking shots, and absolutely phenomenal. See Michael's sister there with her boyfriend. It's funny enough, the dude that plays the boyfriend here in this opening scene, he went on to write like a book about the dangers of teen sex and shit. Kind of ironic, right? I always thought it's funny. He's looking at him through the window. He comes around, peeks this way, and then, of course, makes his way around back and into the house. And by the time he gets into the house, they're already done, man. This guy's a one quick pumper. It's a 2-pump chump, man. Gets that shit done quick. He's in and out. Look at the shot though, man. It's incredible. Especially the way that I don't know if I've watched this. I think I may watch this in 4K one time. So this might be the second time I've watched it in 4K. But the way it's still dark, but it's lit just enough to where you can still see what's going on. Because a lot of times, especially modern movies, you got that problem where it's super dark and you can't tell what the fuck's going on. I ever see him open the drawer here, and funny enough, that's actually John Carpenter's longtime girlfriend, Deborah Hill, right there grabbing the knife. That was her hand. And look at this slow tracking shot, just kind of walking you through here. Feels like you got the POV thing going on, which would come to be kind of something that would be used a lot in slasher films. But this was kind of the origination of it right here. And look, by the time he's coming through this hallway and looking up the steps, dude's done. He's like, I'm out. Putting his shirt on and heading out, dude. Full 60 seconds of lovemaking right there. I always like the way he looks back there when he goes out the door because they were talking about him calling her, and it's almost like he's like, I ain't calling this chick. The way he looks back there. And this is just the slow, like, it's barely faintly there, the score, but just that little eeriness of the score, man. I'm telling you, the music in this just makes this shit so phenomenal. Clown mask. And then you're getting to see it through like the eye holes of the mask. That's always so fucking epic as well. There she is, Judith. Some nudity involved. I like how why does he always he looks up at the knife while he's doing it like, oh shit, this is happening. I'm doing it. I always thought like why I always thought like why is he looking at the knife? Can't even see what he was stabbing. Crazy bastard. And the timing of this is also insane. How literally like as he finishes and goes outside, his parents are pulling up. Like if he'd have done that like 30 seconds later, his parents would have been able to maybe save her. That also makes it a little bit more creepy, I think. Michael? And I always like this right here, how the scene just kind of freezes, like a tableau in theater or whatever. And that's it. And that's it. And it's so good because I mean, within what 2 minutes, 3 minutes, less than 5 minutes, we get the backstory for the film, and it's a great example of show don't tell. They show us the backstory, and then of course we move into the present day in '78. And we get our introduction of Dr. Loomis, Smiths Grove, Illinois. Illinois. I don't know why I said Illinois. Sometimes you like to, be funky with it. The day before Halloween, Halloween Eve of '78. Hey, whipping that shit in the rain right there. I wonder if it was really raining. Kind of seems like it was actually really raining this night. Because the production didn't have a lot of money. A lot of it went to Donald Pleasance. If you watch documentaries about Halloween '78, it's incredible how they pulled all this together, man. And I love how they bring back the nurse, like what, 4 times in the franchise, right? She comes back in Halloween 2, H2O, and then again in Halloween Kills. Yeah, you ain't got no gibberish coming from Michael. He ain't gonna say shit unless it's Rob Zombie shit. I love how Dr. Loomis knows what he's dealing with. He's like, it's an it, not a him. Thorazine. Hell yeah, you don't want him up and moving and shit. Load him up with that Thorazine. Pump him with that shit. There's the matchbook. I love how they bring that back into play as well. You see the Rabbit and Red matchbook, and that comes back into play too. Of course, Rob Zombie would take that Rabbit and Red and turn it into a damn strip club and his shit, of course, in typical Rob Zombie fashion. He's always got to make it fucking nasty and dirty. This is creepy too. You just see the patients out running around. Why would she ask that? Like they're just gonna let the patients out? Like, hey, y'all go have some time out in the yard in the middle of the rain. Have fun. Run amok. There goes that score kicking in. Dun 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 dun. I mean, to me, that's the greatest horror theme of all time. It's like I remember when I first got cell phones when they first started coming out back when I was in like middle school. That was the first ringtone I had to get, man. I had to get that Halloween theme. Check this out, y'all. Michael's up on the car, but watch when, especially you can see it here in the 4K. They have a wrench in his hand to break this window. You can see it a little bit. She's got him, or he's got her, I should say. Now you know she wouldn't be able to fight loose, man. Especially later in the franchise. Watch this. Watch. Look, real close. You can see the wrench in the hand to break this window. See it right there in the palm? You can definitely tell it here on the 4K. That's the good and bad about 4K is it looks fucking fantastic, but also, you know, these movies made back then were, you know, shot on film. They weren't necessarily made for 4K. So sometimes a lot of stuff that is hidden back in the day comes to light with the 4K version. The evil is gone. Iconic line alert. She's like, I don't give a fuck that he's gone. I'm just glad I'm alive. She's like, I thought I was dead. See, like it wasn't even the fall when they shot this. Also, was shot in California. You can see some palm trees around at times, but all those leaves in the scene, they literally had a trash bag full of leaves that they had painted to look like fall colors, and they would have to dump them, you know, for the scenes, and then scoop them back up and use them for other scenes because it wasn't even fall time, and they weren't in Illinois; they were in California. Our introduction of Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis here. They just had that little Strode Realty sticker they just stuck on that card. It's like we got to make it somehow know that he's a realtor. Just print out a little sticker. We'll stick it on the side of his door. The socks always throw me off. I guess that was a thing back in the 70s. I think that's the only time we see her parents. It's just that one shot of her dad right there. She got to drop that key off at the Myers house. Oh shit! It's just like things like this. Just you get the atmosphere here with just scenes, no dialogue, just kind of an establishing shot of the environment, but that great score playing. That's what makes it so good, man. Just these little shots like this, even everything's so well crafted. It looks good as hell in 4K. Here comes Tommy. Tommy Doyle. She's a good little babysitter, man. As opposed to Annie in this movie and shit. You can tell she's got like those motherly instincts and shit. I think that, that's one reason she was able to survive all these times and stuff. And she protected the hell out of those kids. Like they got that little Strode Realty, which I guess that's why they stuck it on his car, so you would know that he's the one selling it. Which obviously, I mean, her dropping off the key was kind of the giveaway enough, but I guess you got to have that a little bit for the atmosphere. I love the look of the Myers house in this one. You know, throughout the most of the films up until part 5 when, and there he is watching. Part 5 when that uh Dominic Gerard or whatever changed it and made it look like a fucking castle. I hated that shit. That's probably one commentary I won't do this month's Halloween 5. Even though it'd be fun to do some of the ones that I think are shitty, but I'm gonna try and just pick out some of my favorites. And there's a lot of alone, just the two of us. Had to hit that little song there. But there's a lot of speculation about why Laurie. You know, of course, in the second one, they try and come up with the shit of him being her sister. But in this first movie, that wasn't the case. And John Carpenter never intended that. You guys know when he wrote the second one, he had to get a 6-pack down and drink to be able to write that second Halloween movie. And then that's when he came up with that sister shit, which he hated. But a lot of speculation about why her. And, you know, really, I think it's just he saw her right there and set her eyes on her and was like, I've got to have that. And knew he was going to go after her for the rest of the movie. It's a great scene right here, too. There was someone around here gave him lessons. And funny enough, obviously different actor and shit, but I love the way that in Halloween 6 they bring that character back, even Dr. Wynn. And you hear it right there over the speaker. You can hear him Page's Dr. Wynn, so you know that's who it is. And Daniel Farrens that wrote Halloween 6, which his original version would have been badass, was so good to bring back stuff throughout the franchise. I pay attention to the scene right here, what the teacher's talking about. So I think that kind of underlies the theme of the movie. It's all about fate a lot. Can you imagine looking out and seeing that shit? Like, what the hell? He's like, hello. I see you. You were at my house earlier. You want to hang out? Fate is immovable like a mountain. Like, this was her fate. This shit was going to happen no matter what she did. That's the way I always look at it and shit. This scene never really made that much sense to me. I guess they're trying to show that Tommy's bullied or whatever. But why does Michael just sit there and then walk along the fence like he's in a fucking music video longing for a lover? Look how big that fucking pumpkin is. And of course, in the red jacket there, that's Lonnie, which who would come back in the Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends and shit in the later franchises, which is something cool that they brought him back. They even did like the flashback scene and had him in that shirt and jacket and shit, which was cool. I know Halloween Kills gets some hate, but I really like Halloween Kills for a lot of the flashback scenes. I thought they were so perfect. I think a lot of that's just because of my love for the 78 film. I like how Michael just grabs that kid. No running. No running on the sidewalk. Now here's this shit. Doesn't this remind you like a 90s music video of dude just be like walking along the fence with the slow music playing and he's looking like at a lover that he wants? Like a girl's in the fucking schoolyard and he's like just watching. Shout out to Nick Castle though. Probably still the greatest Michael Myers to me, man. There's been some good ones. Been some really good ones, but Nick Castle's that dude. James Jude Courtney did a hell of a job recently, but Nick Castle's the man as far as I'm concerned. I like George P. Wilbur in 4 and 6. Like I said, James Jude Courtney's good, but Nick Castle, just something about it, man. The way he moved and shit, top notch. He never even looked, though. That's what's kind of weird, too. Like, he never even noticed that he was there. Like, this kid just going about his business, don't give a shit. Hey, and here we discover the first body, which that's one thing about Halloween 78 that people don't realize is there's really not a lot of blood shown, not a lot of kills that were gory and shit, which to me just shows you don't necessarily need all of that, man. Sometimes it's like the theater of the mind, finding the aftermath and shit and allowing your mind to create scenarios even scarier and shit sometimes. It's all about the building of the tension and just the way you present it. There's a couple scenes with blood, but for the most part, not a lot of blood at all in this movie. Something else they would change in Halloween 2. Even go back and do reshoots to add more, because by that point you'd had Friday the 13th, a lot of movies that use more gore and shit, so they felt like it was necessary. And I guess, today's audiences, they really do want that extra action. They want that gore and shit. And here's where the matchbook comes back that I was talking about. This is how he knows. And that's just great direction. Like I said earlier, show don't tell. Just a quick little shot of that rabbit and red matchbook in the car with the nurse earlier, and then when he picks that up and they show it again, oh shit, this was Michael. And there's a little bit of blood right there you get with the dead truck driver, and that's obviously where Michael got his jumpsuit for the first time, his coveralls. It's even that shows they show that it's like because you see him when he's there with Lori, he's in that when the hell did he get those coveralls? How did he get those? And then right there, boom, you put two and two together because that guy he killed is stripped and shit. So can't praise John Carpenter and Deborah Hill enough for this shit, man. You really can't. And a lot of the dialogue between the girls was written by Deborah Hill, which is one reason it feels like more authentic. Get that nice female touch to the dialogue, female voice for the female characters. Totally. See, but this is a great character building because earlier, like I was talking about, we saw, Lori having the motherly instincts, like when she babysits and Tommy was asking her the questions, and they were just about to say that, the only reason she babysits is to have a place to, screw essentially. So it just builds the characters right there with that dialogue. Look at him, he's like, "What? Are you looking at me?" "What did you say to me?" "I will back this car up and come over there, smack you in the face." Then he's like, "No, later. I'll get them later." Just had to make them think for a second, make them sweat a little bit. She just did, ironically. She just did. Dude, Bob's death is the best. Spoiler alert, but I feel like if you're watching this commentary, you've probably already seen this maybe 100 times. Linda's totally. That's one of the iconic lines as well. See, they're just walking away. The camera's staying put. No dialogue here. Just the environment and the great score. Look how big her shoes are. Look how big Linda's shoes are in the middle. Those platform shoes were a thing back in like the 70s and 80s, but geez. Them things are like fucking 6 inches thick. My God. Looks like she's got plywood under her feet. Now, how the hell did he get there? There's right here, if you pay close attention, you can really see it in the 4K. John Carpenter was always smoking a cigar, and you can see his smoke in the shot a little bit that he was blowing. So I think even though this movie doesn't really go fully supernatural, that would come later in the franchise. There are moments of it to where you're like, there was a smoke that scrolled by right there when she talked back and said, "I want to take you out tonight." If you guys caught it, but there are moments in this movie where you do see some of those supernatural aspects that come through that just make you question: Is he human? Is he not? Is this supernatural and shit? And that's what I love about this movie. It presents the questions, but it doesn't answer them, and that's what makes it so scary, so creepy, so well done. That was ADR. They definitely added that dialogue later. Sounded like it's the way it came through when she said, "Guys think I'm too smart." Someone is texting me at this time. Sheriff Brackett. Look at his chest hair. I never noticed that. It's just poking out from his shirt. It looked like damn Austin Powers. Rest in peace to Charles Cyphers, by the way. Recently died, just past few months. He got to come back and cameo in Halloween Kills. I know it wasn't necessarily a great cameo, but still at least he got to return to the franchise because he was good as Sheriff Brackett here in this original. Why are they trick or treating? Didn't they say it was the day before? Oh, I guess this is Halloween now. I'm tripping. The day before was when he broke out of the sanitarium. But they're trick or treating early as hell because they just got out of school. So this is what, 3, 4 o'clock? Trick or treating out early. They said we're going to load up on candy from 4 till 9. Another great shot of Michael here. Hold on a second. The wife's calling me, guys. See what she's talking about. Obviously, going to keep the movie rolling since it's commentary, but you guys will just hear a little bit of my conversation. Hey, just recording this commentary, watching Halloween. You're what? Okay. All right, yeah, I'll check after I get done with this before I get ready for work. All right. All right, I'll check. All right, love you too. She's missing a pair of her glasses, guys. I'm going to have to try and find those after I finish the commentary. Look at that. Look at the little Annabelle back there in the background. Raggedy Ann doll. I guess those socks aren't white. They looked white out in the sunlight, but here they look super tan. Brownish color. And there's the iconic Laurie outfit. That's pretty good though to only have trash bags full of leaves, but also you can kind of tell because like where she's walking, you see the leaves are falling there, but if you look down the way, nothing. But they did a good job though setting it up to where, because I mean it's everything that's in focus, everything that's in the frame, you still got the fall look for. And they did a good job capturing kind of a fall look despite it not being fall. And if you look on all the other yards, super green, no leaves changing colors and stuff. But all that just kind of goes by the wayside because of how well they present everything. It's all stuff you don't realize and pick up on until after you've like watched documentaries. Then you start to notice it. But I think it's so well done that it didn't even matter. And now you're going to see Laurie get a little stony baloney. Which is funny because this was, of course, kind of one of the movies that helped establish the slasher movie tropes, but also kind of breaks them here because, typically the tropes came to be known throughout the 80s. Like if you smoke, drink, do drugs, you're probably going to get killed. If you have sex, you're probably going to get killed. But Lori breaks that here. She's hitting this joint. It's just super yellow. I've never seen a yellow joint before, but, maybe they rolled it out of friggin' one of those yellow notebook papers. They use the phone book. I've always wanted to want them to maybe like do a spin-off about this story that he talks about. Charlie Bowles. See that story right there, man. If you like expand the Halloween universe, why not? Charlie Bowles. Somebody tell that story, and you can go anywhere with it. All we have is that little brief bit of info from right there. I love how he says it's the kids, like that. It's not a fucking headstone that weighs who knows how much. This man, Donald Pleasance, is so good. Just the way he delivered that line right there. Look at Lori. She's like, damn, that shit's spicy. You get Don't Fear the Reaper playing over the radio. See, that's why I think fate plays into this because he just keeps finding her, no matter what. It's like the stalking and stuff too. That's what really sets this one apart from other Halloween movies is like the constant stalking that's there. Why she was holding it like this? Like it's a fucking flute. Oh shit. And this right here just he has to be either the worst cop ever or the coolest dad ever because if they're smoking and then they pull up like 30 seconds later have to roll the window down and talk to him, there's no way he would not be able to smell this shit. No way. So either he's cool as hell about it, doesn't care, or he's just the worst cop ever. And see, just that slight little detail as well, just let you know that's where Michael, got his mask, where he got the rope from. So it's like they're giving you the little hints throughout. It's also like, how did he get all the shit? Well, here, we'll tell you with these little tiny scenes. This always cracks me up because he just right there, just driving by. Michael was probably like, oh shit, is that Dr. Loomis? Oh shit, I gotta get out of here. Just act normal. Just act normal. He doesn't see you. Just act normal. Act normal. But then I always like this too because the way he like turns like that, it's almost like he sensed it too. It's like they have this kind of connection. Lori's paranoid as hell. That's how you know she's stoned. Oh, we got a little lens flare. way before J.J. Abrams. And really, I never picked up on this, but this scene kind of shows the sun is setting because where it's getting low there with him driving through here, it also shows it's getting close to dark. I need to clean that damn window. Look how dirty Laurie's window is. Like I said, this 4K shows some shit. Ben Tramer. Our first Ben Tramer reference. It's crazy that they never even realized that he was behind them at multiple times throughout these few scenes. And then boom, we're nighttime. Which also makes me wonder, how fucking far did they have to drive? I mean, they were babysitting in the same town. Haddonfield's not that big. They did show us the sun was setting there, but then just immediate darkness. Also, always thought it was cool that they're babysitting like across the street from one another, because then you get that iconic shot later of him outside holding the body, which is so well done. We're getting into some iconic shit now, guys. I also think the fact that they set this on Halloween, obviously, of course, ended up becoming iconic and becoming Halloween, but originally, it was going to be titled The Babysitter Murders. But the fact that they set it on Halloween just made so much sense because no one would bat an eye about him walking around with a mask on and shit on Halloween night. Even if they did see him, which a lot of times they don't notice him. Look at, he's just like hiding behind a tree like a fucking peeping Tom. Hello? Oh, your parents are leaving. I'm coming in now. Little Lindsay Wallace. It is really cool, man. The show, just think about how much the franchise, continuing on, has grown to bring back, some of these minor characters in the future. The Sheriff Brackett's, the Lindsay Wallace's, the Tommy Doyle's, the Lonnie's. They really picked a great house for the Myers house. It just looks creepy as hell. Just like that shot of it alone is great. And if you notice, the glass is broken, so you see how we got in there. And this is when you find out what Michael likes to eat on. It's a dog. He's eating fucking dog. They're eating the dogs. They are eating the dogs. Could have been a skunk. How many skunks do you know that kill dogs? How big is that fucking skunk? I'm guessing they just picked an abandoned house to use as the interior of the Myers house. Because just look how, it looks decrepit. I highly doubt that they just punched holes in the walls and peeled the paint and shit like that. I mean, they could have, but I doubt it with as low as this production cost. One of the greatest independent films ever. How much money it's went on to make, what it's been on to spawn. And what was the budget? $350,000 maybe? There's a little jump scare for you. The gutter falls. Let's look it up. I want to say it's 330,000. Can't remember right off. 325,000. And I think that the 25,000 was for Donna Pleasance, if I'm not mistaken. I was damn right on. All right, let's take in this speech. God, it's so good. That's the best monologue in the movie. So good. I mean, it was written well, but the way Donald Pleasance just delivers those lines, amazing. It was money well spent. They spent most of the money on the cameras and Donald Pleasance for this film, and those two things are what really created the shit that we got, man. They great decisions with that. The Panaglide cameras and Donald Pleasance helped made this shit what it was. What's his name? Brian Andrews. I think that's the actor's name that played Tommy Doyle in this. Man, was he pissed that he didn't get to come back for Halloween Kills, and that they cast dude from Breakfast Club instead. Can't think of his name right now. Spalding. Little Spalding comic on the back, getting some free publicity. Basically the midpoint of the film right here. About to get into a back half. Things about to crank up. That dog trying to warn her. And Michael's like, let that dog out. I'm hungry. Look, Lori still looks stoned. I think she's still stoned. The way she just looked with her eyes low, twisting her hair right there. Smart dog. Oh, Ben Tramer. Poor Ben Tramer. He would meet his untimely demise in a couple years. Oh, my movie lagged for a second. I think I'm good now, though. That's weird. Might need to clean the disc. Might have a spot on it. But I love the fact that he looks out the window and sees him. And this is when you start getting the boogeyman references, which is great. I think he's playing mind games too. He's like, oh, the kid's seen me. He's going to go run and tell him to hide. And then they're going to think the kid's crazy. But see, he walks around the back of the house. I always thought this is funny. Watch this. So Michael just standing there by that plant. Socks are wild. She got the polka dot panties. I don't know why that always makes me laugh. Like, just because the way he hits that plant and it falls and breaks, and then he just backs up out of frame real quick. He's like, oh shit, I fucked up. She's going to find me. Oh, I got clumsy on that one. I like how it's like this dog was like going to fuck him up too. Annie's so clueless. Like, the dog's barking for a reason, Annie. And then you like clearly hear the dog yelp like he's in pain, and she just doesn't even give a shit. Michael just choked this dog out. I'm like, how do you? Like, that's crazy as hell. How do you know somebody's so strong enough just picks the dog up by his throat, chokes him out, and he's probably gonna eat that fucker? Howard Hawks, the thing from another world. That's what they're watching here. Which it's kind of funny because then John Carpenter would go on, of course, to kind of remake it and remake The Thing, which was an awesome, another John Carpenter classic, one of the best as well. I love the boogeyman theme throughout the movie as well. What do you look like, the boogeyman? Hey, that's dope. I never really thought of that. She kept that promise. Spoiler alert, but she really meant that shit. I love the way that this builds up the tension too, because he's there. You know she's going out to this laundry room, so you're like, is this it? Is this going to be the time? Especially if it feels like, imagine sitting in the theater, you've never seen this before. He's outside. He's killed people. He's been watching them, and so you're essentially like a damn waiting on a cat to pounce on its prey type shit. And so you're just on pins and needles right now. Like, is she about to die? Look at that shot, man. That looks so good in 4K. Product placement for Tide before product placement was the thing. And then he's gone. But that shot through the door, oh, that was creepy. That looked great. I always wondered if that was supposed to be tied to Michael. I think it was just a gust of wind, though. Well, she definitely ain't gonna hear you talking like that. She ain't even yelling. This scene was always creepy to me too, because it's like he's just standing there, and you're wondering, oh, he's not gonna kill the kid, is he? How could she hear the phone ring all the way out there? Oh, Clorox products placement now as well. Look at all just the old containers and old logos and shit. I always enjoy that when you watch older movies too. Did she hang it up? She hung up the phone? I guess, I mean, she is a kid. She wouldn't know how the phone works. Why's the door locked from the outside also? Yeah, I don't think he was gonna make it. You could have just moved that damn thing, and you probably would have been fine to get out that window. It's a weird window. I never seen a window that opens like a mini door like that either. She said, "Promise me you won't tell anybody about this," and then immediately, look at that old popcorn tin. Literally, right off the bat. She got stuck in the window. "Oh, hi, Mark." That's made me think of The Room. Look at that, just in the background, just cool, and then bam, gone. It's like, is it supernatural? Is it not? I see Quaker Oats in the background. This 4K version has me picking up on shit I had never seen. That's the good thing about 4K. Oh shit, it's DTF, Paul. DTF. She said, "I'm scared," like she ain't sitting in the dark watching horror movies. Oh, gotta crack open a snack, guys. Got about a half hour left. Jumping into the third act of the movie now. Getting to the good shit. A Chewy bar. Speaking of Quaker. Also, it's kind of fucked up, but also shows Lori's a good friend. She's like, "Sure, I'll babysit your kid. You're supposed to be babysitting so you can go get laid." Where the fuck was he standing? Was he just like squatted by the car just so he could pop up right there? Good music sting from John Carpenter, though. Oh, got those pumpkin guts. Oh, holy shit, I just thought of something. So she just said Ben Tramer was out drinking with his friend, right? Halloween 2 picks up on the same night. And he doesn't stop for the police and ends up getting hit by the car. It makes sense now because he was drunk as shit. Oh, Paul. A little song that Lori sings earlier in that song she sings there. They get stuck in your head. Especially when you go back and watch this like a million fucking times like I have. And I love this touch right here because she goes out to the car. It's locked. So she has to come back in to get her keys. And then when she goes back out to the car, the door's open. So it's just that little touch just to let us, the audience, know, oh shit, he's in there. You know, if you pick up on that originally, which I didn't for the longest time, but it's so good, so well done. That's just great direction, great story, great storytelling. See? And then she thinks about it. Wait a minute. And the windows are fogged up. Somebody's in there breathing. I love how he just pops up like, hello. You would think that horn would attract somebody, though. Because she hits it several times and then she falls on it, too. and the very quick slash there. And you see, even though it's like a throat slash or whatever, no blood there. And to me, probably the creepiest thing is like when she falls on that horn right there. This adds to it. See, great death scene, not a lot of gore. Just an excellent death scene, the way it built up the tension, the way you realized he was in there, and then just he pops up and goes at it. And then you get a bit of a struggle. And here's the shot I was talking about earlier when he sees Michael carrying the body. One of my favorite shots of the film. That's like she wouldn't know that it was him. Look at that. So well done. It's almost like a silhouette. And that would freak you the hell out if you're a kid. I mean, it freak you the hell out if you're anyone, but especially as a kid. I would probably have the same reaction. It sounded like he was barely speaking English. I thought about getting It's outside. So I like how Lori's like helping her, and then she takes his side. Lori's like, "Fuck these kids," but not really. Only in her head, because, like I said, she's got great motherly instincts. Good babysitter. And this is the first time we also get to see, Michael Myers setting up the bodies for people to discover. This will become a trope after this. This always makes me laugh right here. Dr. Loomis in this scene. It's funny, but he also is like protecting the kids in a weird way as well. Look at his little smirk, like he's pleased with himself. Like, yeah, I scared him and I saved him. I did good. On Sheriff Brackett scaring the hell out of people multiple times. Lonnie, get your ass away from there. He said, you have the wrong feeling. Past the wall. Iconic line alert. Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. Shout out to Sheriff Brackett too for like believing him enough to just see it through. But also that last line that he said makes sense too. Damn you for letting him go. Even though it was, I mean, Dr. Loomis wasn't even there when he got out. He tried to tell, the sanitarium and shit to, keep him extra locked down. And they didn't. That's why he was yelling at Dr. Wynn in that scene earlier. Okay, that scene just does not age well, no matter how you look at it. I don't know what the hell they're going for. I guess it's just maybe comedy, but it's just ugh, it's no good. No bueno. It's terrible line of dialogue. Like just cut that out of that shit, man. Totally. It's funny how everything comes back around if you think about it. Like if you, like a lot of people have similar hairstyle to Bob now. Like that same style of glasses coming back around. Some of the clothing and shit. Everything comes back around. And also, you know, if you think about it, we've already seen he carried Annie in there, so we knew he was in this house already before they got there. Something that I never really thought about to pick up on before was like when they were going in there, he was already in there. See, she sees the lights on. She thinks it's Annie and Paul, but she also sees the van, knows that Linda's over there. So nothing for her to be, you know, worried about. Essentially, she's like, "Oh, Annie's there, Linda's there. They're all having a great time." I think that that's literally one of the reasons John Carpenter cast her was because the way that she said that totally. Also, like, why did they go upstairs? Like, they could just go wherever they wanted. Like, why do they need to go upstairs? Why can't they just do it right there in that room? I don't know. I don't know. It's a question I do not have the answer for. They just prefer beds, I guess. Old Budweiser cans, man. I gotta shave my fucking mustache. It's getting up in my nose and itching the hell out of me. I feel like that's an incredibly ridiculous amount of moaning just for kissing someone. And took the phone off the hook. I wonder who was calling. And where the hell did that jack o' lantern come from? Look at Michael. Michael's like, oh yeah, I'll watch this. I'll watch y'all. I'm into it. I feel like that's one thing with slashers. They're always like watching somebody get down, man. I feel like that's also, you go to Scream in '96 and they're talking about the rules, and one of the rules to say, "Don't say I'll be right back," because you won't be. This is like the origination of that because he just said it, and he's not coming back. Probably my favorite death of the film here coming up. First time we get the iconic Michael Myers head tilt, which was not in the script, not a direction, just something Nick Castle kind of did on his own. And ever since then, it's become, just kind of an iconic move that Michael uses. The Shape himself. See, Michael's smart in a lot of ways. He left that door cracked knowing he would go look at it, go check it out, close it, and then bam. He said, "Okay, I'll come out." Jumps on him like a spider monkey. Look at that shot right there. That's so good, man. Just the mask and just like slightly lit, but really just all in the dark. The way that this is filmed, man, it just looks so great. And first of all, the fact that he's strong enough to lift him up that high. And then second of all, the fact that he's strong enough to stab him through a door, keep him off the ground. Shot of the toes, great. And then here it is. Just that little head tilt. Almost like, your dog when you're talking to him and he doesn't understand what you're talking about. It's almost like Michael just looking at it like, hmm, what is this? What has happened? Like he doesn't understand what he's doing and shit. Or it's like he's admiring his own work, really. And then he's just toying with Linda. Especially because the fact that he comes with the beer, even like, why did he bring the beer? How did he know that she wanted a beer? See anything you like? It's coming. Here it is. Iconic line. The longer that they would be silent, you would just have to be freaked out. Did he have that sheet ready already, or did he just take the time after he killed Bob to cut a couple holes in that sheet? Oh, he didn't bring her a beer, I guess. I'm thinking of the Rob Zombie version where he does come back with the beer. I guess if you were Lori, you would know what was going on over there, so you would think that they were like having sex and not that she was being strangled. I like how Michael just gets on the phone like, "Hello? Hello? Mother?" And see how he blinks the lights? It's like he's trying to entice her to come over there. He's like, "I'm not coming to you. You come to me." It'd been funny if he'd answered the phone. "Yes, come over." All right, guys, here we are. Getting to the closing parts here. Some good shit. Got Lori in her iconic blue shirt and pants. Shit's about to get real. Creaky ass chair. Apologies for picking that up. Need to grease that damn thing. And I don't blame Dr. Loomis waiting outside the house. I mean, I would have probably thought he was going to come back there as well. But then he sees the car and he gets smart. There goes the score, man. God, it just kicks in at the perfect time. And you get these wide shots of the characters, moving around in the environment with that score playing. It's so fucking great. Now he knows he's around. He's just got to find out where. I like how he just takes off running. Like he's just gonna I always got the impression that he's just gonna go like knock on every door till he finds him. He's that dedicated to the shit. Hey, but persistence pays off. Bit of foreshadowing there with the sewing bag. Sewing kit, I guess I should say. So does she have keys to their house? Or was that Annie's shit? She gave her the keys in. I always wondered that. See, I guess after Linda wouldn't have called you back and told you, it was a joke or we were just messing with you or something, you probably then would worry, like, all right, that's kind of weird. I'm going to have to go see what's going on, especially with all the lights off over there now. Love those POV shots, man. So well done. And the jack-o'-lanterns add the great atmosphere. Looks they did a good job creating the Halloween atmosphere in this one. I think the best October, Halloween atmosphere, though, that's in Halloween 4, which might be the next commentary we do next time we get a chance to do one this month, hopefully. That's one of my favorites as well. I think it's probably the most underrated Halloween movie, quite frankly. But nothing comes close to this one. Nothing. No Halloween movie, and quite frankly, in my opinion, probably no horror movie and no slasher movie at all. It's 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10, A++. Damn near a perfect movie, if you ask me. The music just sets it all, too, man. It just gives you that atmosphere. Is that a continuity error? Didn't he knock that plant down? Or was there another plant? I always think it's a good job too. That you see the reflection, you can see her reflection, but somehow you don't see the cameras, the lights, or anything in the reflections of the glass. That's tough to do. It's not easy to pull off. She probably would think they're trying to just scare you and prank you and shit. But like I said earlier, this is the first time we get to see Michael Myers set up the bodies for somebody to find. It kind of reminds me of like you guys, that have cats probably experience this shit. Like your cat will kill a mouse and just bring it and leave it on your porch like it's a fucking gift for you on your sidewalk, whatever. It's kind of like what Michael does in this scene. It's like, Lori, I've been watching you since you came to my house earlier, and I have presented you with these gifts. I've made these arts and crafts projects for you. It's a slow build, man. It's a slow build. How she moved slowly, how everything is shot, slowly, just building that tension to where you're like, is somebody going to jump out at her? Is he going to grab her? Is she going to find something? You just don't know. It's that anticipation. That's the part of horror that this movie nails, man. That more movies need to do a better job of. It's just building that tension. This movie does it like no other. It's like a damn scavenger hunt. He's leading her where he wants her to go. See what I mean with the arts and crafts shit? This man put the whole ass headstone up there. That shows the strength. Like, who the fuck's strong enough to do that? Great scream. Great reveal. And now, how the hell did he get her in there? Is that like just the top half of her body? I always wonder where her fucking legs were. Pretty good acting here from Jamie Lee Curtis as well. She sells this. Now watch this. This is iconic. You just see his face slowly get lit up, the mask a little bit. They used like a lighting trick to do that where they just kind of had a dampener on the light and they slowly brought it up. And of course, that's something they would bring back in Halloween 2018. That's one of the things that made me love Halloween 2018 so much was such the callbacks to this original with some of the iconic moments being recreated. But also, like, how did he miss and not like absolutely stab her in the back or something and just barely, hit her arm as well? That shot of him on the stairs is great too. And look how like he literally was there somehow. How did he get behind her to lock that thing after she came in? Because that's the door she came in, and then also beat her up to the top of this. It's like he put the fucking thing there, ran around the house, got in the front, went upstairs, hid in the closet. That's a flimsy ass door. And also, this was the beginning of another trope where the final girl, of course, that trope. But I was more talking about the trope of where like they get slightly injured, so they can't like fully run away because she fell down the steps and now she has like the hurt ankle, knee, or whatever, and so she's moving a little bit slower and limping. That would kind of be a thing that came to happen a lot in slasher movies. This movie just set up that genre, and people really, copied it to a T almost, for better or worse. I always thought it's fucked up that these people didn't help her. They were just like, nah, fuck it. Close the window. Turn the lights back off. It's a fucking Halloween prank or something. It's these damn kids. Look at that camera work. Also, just look at this. Look at that shot, first of all. But then this is a tense moment right here. You just see him, he's coming. He's not slowing down. He's not stopping. He's going at his pace, but he's going to keep coming and walking there. And she has to try and get the kids woken up and get them to open the door for her before he gets there. You should have told him to run. Because, look, he's still half asleep, man. He's taking his sweet ass time. He don't know nothing's going on. That "do as I say" line is something that Danny McBride and David Gordon Green referenced to one of the reasons that they thought Laurie could be the type of character that she ended up being in their trilogy. Just kind of that badass, um, almost like Linda Hamilton, Terminator, Sarah Connor type character. Look, she realizes that shit's open. But how the fuck did he get? Like, that's what I'm saying with the supernatural type angles. Maybe it's like, how the fuck did he get in there? And he missed again. Sewing needle in the fucking neck. Which is a great touch too, because like from then on, you always have that hole in the side of the mask and shit. Even the mask that I have from '78 has a little sewing needle hole in the side. I never noticed the blood on her hand either until I watched this in 4K from where she punched out that door. People often wonder why she didn't stab him and why she just kind of drops this knife. But if you think about it, as she's holding this knife and stuff, she starts to realize, because you see her look at it here. Watch. See her look at this knife? She's staring at it. And then she tosses it down, and people are like, why the fuck would she not? But look at her face, like that look of disgust, because it's like she realized as she's looking at this knife, this is the knife that killed all of my friends that I just found dead and stuff. And so she, she doesn't want to hold it. She doesn't want anything to do with it because the attachment to it, it's like a mental thing, it's like a mind fuck. Like, this knife killed my friends. Holy shit. And so immediately just toss it to the side. Plus, she probably thought he was dead. A lot of people, you stab them in their fucking damn near jugular, they're going to die, even if it's just with a sewing needle. Now, should she have stabbed him, finished him off? Probably. But, hey, you got to keep the movie going to a climax. We're still in the build-up right here. Right about, I think we're less than 10 minutes left, guys. About the final 5 to 7 minutes of this thing. It's the great babysitter motherly instincts. You can't kill the boogeyman. That line right there, man, it proves to be so true throughout the franchise. They didn't even know what they were setting up with that line. I mean, they did for this movie, but they didn't for the future of the franchise. And this scene right here is fucking great too. It's funny because I saw Halloween H2O before I ever saw this. H2O was the first Halloween movie I ever saw. And she kind of has the nightmare of him like doing this and stabbing through the closet and shit. But I never knew it was a callback to this until I watched this for the first time. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. Which, I mean, there's really no way to fake this. They just definitely fucked this closet up in the production. But listen, look how flimsy those doors are. This man could lift a whole ass tombstone, but he can't just rip those doors off. I feel like he could easily just rip those bitches open. I mean, that would be terrifying because if he comes in there, you're just fucked. You're done. But she's smart, man. She gets the hanger. I'd have got the hanger before, like when I first went in there, though, and just had it ready from the beginning. But at least she's quick. She thinks on her feet, man. That's why Laurie's able to, be like one of the greatest final girls of all time. Oh yeah, right in the freaking face. His eyes get fucked up a lot in this franchise. Next movie, she shoots them shits out. So that time she said, fuck it, I don't care. I've got to hit him with this knife once. I fucked up the first time, I'm not fucking up again. But see, this is a tense moment too, because it's like that moment which would yet again be created in future slasher movies where the killer's incapacitated and you gotta walk by him, not knowing is he gonna grab me or what? Like I have to step over this dude. Look how big that fucking knife is. That added to the terror as well. You know, the weapon selection. She has to walk around him and know. And she throws the knife down again. That is a legit criticism, I guess, that people do have, is that she threw the fucking knife down. Not once, but twice. But I get it, man. I get it. There's not a lot you can hate on this movie for at all. They would call back to that in Scream. Kevin Williamson said he was a huge Halloween fan, helped him inspire to write Scream. And if you remember in Scream, they do the kind of the same thing. Go down the street to the Mackenzies or whatever. Or call the Mackenzies. Here it is. Another iconic scene. The first ever raise up like that, just a straight raise up. The Undertaker said that that's what inspired him to do it in WWE, is the fact of seeing it in this movie. And that's the first time we ever got to see it. And the fact that Dr. Loomis just sees those kids running out of the house and he just knows, like he can sense it. It's that connection shit we were talking about earlier. He knows, like, this is where he is. This is where I've got to go. And thank God he does, man. Fucking saves the day. But why would she just stand there? I mean, I guess she's traumatized, but I would have got the hell out of that house so damn fast. So he didn't see the knife or pick it up. Instead, he's like, I'm just going to strangle her out like I did that dog earlier. And here it is. Tony Moran as the unmasked Michael Myers here in the original. First shot of Tony Moran. And then here he goes. I shot him 6 times, Sheriff. That's what he says a lot in Halloween 2. Let's count him, though. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. 6 times. And I love this part, obviously, because the way that Donald Pleasance played it, they said they shot it a few different ways, but the one that they went with was when he goes over and looks at the edge and he just realizes, oh, he's gone, like he expected him to be. It was the boogeyman. God, that's so good, man. There's never been a better closing line. That's perfect. Perfectly set up throughout the film, perfectly executed. And then look, he's not surprised when he looks over this edge. It's like he expected that. And then the theme kicks in. God, it's a fucking hell of an ending right there, y'all. It's like he just knows it's not over. And he knows that he was going to be gone too. But just to hammer it home, I love the way that this ends with, you know, obviously the score kicking in, but just watch right here, these scenes that are about to flash on, where it shows like all the places that he'd been throughout the film right here. Just shows these different, you know, locations. And to me, I think that that's such a creepy way to end the movie because, you know, the boogeyman stuff they've set up and you hear his breathing, you know he's still alive, but it also shows like he could be here, he could be there, he could be anywhere. He could be around you, you know. That's like just a great way to end the film. Like you don't know where he could be, but he's been in all these places. Who knows where he could go next? You hear his breathing, you know he's still out there. So well done. So fucking awesome. It's a perfect bookend to the movie. And there it is, guys. The title scene, the title screen, Halloween, and we get our end credits. Round of applause for the greatest horror movie ever made. Definitely the greatest slasher movie ever made, in my opinion, guys. Halloween. There it is. Our first horror commentary here in October Horror Onslaught Month here on JC's Pop Culture. Hope you guys enjoyed this one on the YouTube side. If you watched it here on YouTube, be sure give me a thumbs up, give me a like on the video. That helps a shit ton with the algorithm. If you're into movies, I'm always talking horror, superhero movies, and comedy movies. So if those are up your alley, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And I'm covering the EA Sports College Football 25 game as well. And I'll be covering EA Sports College Football 26 as news starts to come out on it. So if that's up your alley, another reason to subscribe here. I'm going to put this out on the audio side on all the podcast platforms as well as an episode of JC's Pop Culture Podcast, kind of a bonus episode. I'll try and do that for all these commentaries I'm going to try and release here throughout the month of October Horror Onslaught Month here on JC's Pop Culture. So if you're listening to the audio version, leave me a rating there, preferably a 5-star one. Helps a ton there as we continue to try and grow the podcast side as well. But there it is, JC's Pop Culture commentary number 1 in the books, and probably the best one we'll do because this movie near and dear to my heart, one of my all-time favorite movies. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. I really appreciate you guys tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.